Hi, good day everyone. My name is Dinesh and I'm here to talk to you about Microsoft Copilot AI training program. Here is actually a quick program roadmap and insight about Microsoft Copilot and how exactly Microsoft Copilot can help you in terms of boosting your productivity, unlock your capabilities within your organization for the subscriptions that you already own in a more secured manner. My name is Dinesh and I've been as a data and AI instructor with Team Academy for the last 7 years. I got my Masters of Business Administration in Finance, Portfolio and Risk Management from University of Geneva. I'm an authorized Microsoft training partner instructor. I'm a Microsoft certified specialist, ex-Microsoft colleague, and we are a Microsoft partner doing training programs specific to Power BI, Microsoft Copilot, Excel, and a variety of other programs as well. So today let's deep dive into what exactly Copilot is all about and how exactly Copilot can help you unlock your productivity. A part of the training program, we focus on three important domain areas. The first thing is about Microsoft Copilot for Excel and Microsoft Office productivity. Then we'll move on to Microsoft Enterprise AI applications. And the third domain area is about the Copilot Studio and Agentic AI for predictive analytics and machine learning. Maybe all these terms sounds little complex, but in reality, they are very simple. This training program is meant for project managers, finance managers, risk managers, HR operations specialists, so on and so forth. This is actually an AI business practitioner training program, and it is my pleasure to welcome you on board over here. The theme of this training program, the 5 key outcomes that you would expect from this specific program, is about making you as a data superhero with Microsoft Excel and of course with Microsoft Copilot and also chat GPT whenever we need to use it. The first theme of the program is to help you become better with data and enhance your productivity with all the Microsoft Office application and slowly get you into the enterprise AI tools with Microsoft such as Loop, Sway, Microsoft Power Apps, Power Automate, so on and so forth. And finally, we will also be talking about how to construct AI agents and how to apply machine learning models for predictive analytics in financial operations or project management, risk management, HR analytics, and other business process area. I'm specialized in terms of bridging the gap between technology and business processes. So most of my training program focuses on how we could use technology to enhance our business productivity. So without wasting much time, let's get started here. The first thing is about how can we use Microsoft Copilot in Excel. This is where we get started. I'll deep dive into Microsoft Excel as a demonstration objective over here, and I'll also talk about what are the other tools that we'll cover as part of this training program. It's an instructor-led training program. It's not going to be recorded the way it is, so you will feel you could feel free to share your requirements, problem statements, and you could interact with us to be better at your tasks and unlock the productivity of AI. So let's assume that you are a procurement specialist and you got like couple of products over here which has been imposed with tariff, and you got to revise your cost sheet in a way that the unit price is going to be 1.5 times more than the original price wherever the tariff is yes. In this specific scenario, what we do in our traditional Excel is actually to do a VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. The first important aspect is to know that Microsoft Copilot is actually a co-pilot. So you being a pilot in your business processes, and Microsoft Copilot helps you to understand your data, to help you to do statistical objectives. As you could see here, I just gave a simple prompt. Hey Copilot, look into the tariff sheet where the column is where the tariff column is yes. I want you to compute the price as 1.5 times of the original unit price and insert an adjacent column next to the sheet. So you could see here, it might be slightly difficult for us to get started with VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, and HLOOKUP, but now Copilot does it so seamless for you that you could simply insert the column next to your unit price, and you got the adjusted unit price, which is actually 1.5 times of the original price. So wherever the tariff is yes, wherever the tariff is no, it's going to replicate the same price. If the tariff price is yes, it's going to compute it as 1.5 times of the original. So we can use Copilot to come up with invoking simple XLOOKUP formula when you're a procurement specialist. Let's say you are actually you're working in project management. Let's assume that you're working in project management, wherein you have a complete project management data to work with. Let's say you got your status date, you got your WBS, you got your task, you got your resources, and you have to predict what exactly could be the future of your project. Would you still end up spending the same amount of money, or maybe you will spend up a little more? I have computed this specific sheet, took a data from a real-time project in a construction project. Let's assume that over here I want Microsoft Copilot to act as a project management specialist and help me with producing the estimated cost at completion. I want AI to predict the future of whether or not we will complete the project on time. So act as a project management specialist as per PMI standards, compute EAC and ETC for each task here in the same sheet, and I just hit on the enter button. You could see here that Microsoft Copilot is helping you as an assistant to get better with your tasks, isn't it? It looks into your data frame, irrespective of whatever business domain that you're from. You could even use machine learning models such as linear regression or decision models and compute formulas. But to get started, let's say I have to come up with some computation and I don't have these numbers in my hand. Microsoft Copilot helps you to compute the EAC, and it's in alignment. You could see here the EAC is actually like 1.6 million, and your BAC is around 1.66. So you got like a very close variance of about minus 1047, which is actually good. You are able to utilize Microsoft Copilot to help you with computing the most complicated formulas in your PMI standards or with your risk management standards, right? Not just that, referring back to the original procurement Excel sheet over here, let's say I can even give a simple prompt over here: use Python and produce a word cloud of unit price by product name. So I'm not a Python expert. I'm not expecting you to learn Python or complex formulas. It's just that the whole idea of Copilot is how you can use Microsoft Copilot as your assistant and give natural commands over here. You could give commands either as a text, or you could simply use the microphone over here. Because I'm recording this video, I could not turn it on, but you could very simply use your microphone to dictate your prompts, and you got your Copilot working with these responses, and it kind of produces a very simple Copilot, very simple word cloud for you. Let's say in this specific context it did not. Let's go ahead and give it a retry. Maybe at times the generative AI doesn't produce the outcome as you expect. At times it's like you need to maybe follow up with a command: use Python, come up with a word cloud of unit price by product name. Let's see if it does its job. I'm again asking AI over here to come up with the Python code and produce a word cloud of unit price by product name. Let's see the typical words over here. Maybe it's just struggling because it's just trying to find out the unit price and come up with which is a quantitative aspect, right? And there is an error which actually is produced just because you might need to use the right context. Maybe in this specific scenario, it's not able to compute the total unit price and produce a word cloud. We could take even better examples over here to come up with the word cloud. Let's say, for instance, I got some customer feedback over here. I'm a marketing specialist. I want to come up with doing a quick sentiment analysis in terms of coming up with the score, and I can even produce a word cloud over here. I'll quickly show you how we can do it. That's the exact output of the prompt that I got in my previous context. So I'm just going to click on Microsoft Copilot over here, activate the app, and hit enter with can you analyze the customer sentiments based on the text analysis? Imagine you're working with a firm where you have taken the complete feedback of your customer survey and you want to do a qualitative analysis. You want to do a sentiment analysis and see where you stand. So Microsoft Copilot is looking at your complete data frame. It observes the a pattern of words that has been recorded over here, and based on that feedback text, Microsoft Copilot would produce a sentiment score based on 1 to 10. Let's go ahead and look at this one. Yep. I could see here that there is already a theme which is produced here, and you could see here the theme is about neutral sentiment, mixed sentiment, and you have positive and negative sentiment as well. This is really amazing because based on your feedback, you're able to see where you stand in terms of customer satisfaction. Now I'm going to use the same word cloud which actually failed in a quantitative aspect, just because you need to know when to use what type of prompts and what type of context, right? Let's say here this is a qualitative objective. I ask here, based on the qualitative data, can you help me produce a word cloud of customer sentiment? Yeah. You can even say here benchmark with feedback text column. Hit enter, and let's see if it does the job. Of course, it's going to do it because the most important idea is about when to use what type of prompts. At Team Academy, we have already handcrafted a number of AI prompts specific to Excel, Word, PowerPoint, how to use machine learning in your Excel, how to come up with your Copilot in terms of presentation, so on and so forth. Yeah. So I'm inserting this into the sheet, and you could see here that checkout is one of the biggest problem that we have with this specific store. And of course, there are few people who have loved it, and the store is actually one of the other word which appeared a lot of times in that specific text, right? Now I can even follow up with the prompt over here based on the data here with can you suggest me what is the appropriate action for the marketing team to act on these feedback and come up with an outcome? Let's see if Copilot is able to act as a marketing specialist and come up with the review and a feedback. Yep. It does its job. It's initiating the prompt. It's invoking the Python codes in the backend, and yes, it did created a theme, and I just inserted into a new sheet. As you could see here, this is your native Excel sheet. You're not exposing the data to ChatGPT and exposing your complete organization data. Rather, it's secured within your firm. And yes, you're able to produce some prompt actions based on the customer feedback or survey that you have already observed, right? It could apply for HR. It could apply in a number of scenarios, right? Now let's assume that you're a financial analyst and you got a balance sheet over here. You could do wonders with this specific balance sheet. Let's say I take this specific frame. I ask here in Copilot, hey Copilot, can you help me with some IFRS standards and produce KPIs? Let's say compute KPIs based on IFRS standards, and I could actually go ahead and make this prompt, hit enter. So the idea here is that you got a balance sheet, you got a general ledger, or you got a revenue statement, and you want to actually produce quick ratios, right? It might take a couple of hours for you to do that, but when you invoke such type of prompts, know how to prompt, when to prompt, and what type of prompts actually to ask in Copilot, you are able to generate quick insights. This is just a little bit of Copilot, more to do with machine learning models, more to do with Python programming without even knowing Python codes, right? I'm not going to talk about any complex formulas or Python programming, but the whole theme of this program is how can you be a master of Microsoft technology without having to deal with a lot of complex formulas and a lot of complex computations and stuff. Yeah. Let's see over here if Microsoft Copilot is able to get it. In the background, it's already coming up with all the H results. It's invoking with pandas as the library code, and you could see here that there is a simple error. Of course, these type of errors occurs when your prompt is not that precise, and at times it gives it like 1 or 2 try, and then you got it right. So this is something that I've been used to with Copilot. It's not that even with your chat GPT as well, at times it's not really giving you the right results, right? So you need to be very precise with the prompt. You need to ask the right questions. That's the most important thing that you would learn. It doesn't mean that you would learn only the prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is actually one of the important steps to get started, but along with prompt engineering, you should also learn how to get your AI to work with the apps that you deal with in your day-to-day scenario. So you got like quick ratios over here, and you got like the balance sheet statements that actually is computed for each of these fiscal year. As a finance specialist, it might take a lot of time for me to compute and come up with these quick ratios, right? To come up with debt to equity ratio, to come up with return on equity ratio. It's going to take a couple of hours for you. With Copilot, you can augment Copilot to act as a finance specialist and then produce IFRS KPI in just about a couple of minutes, right? You could even follow up with prompts like utilize machine learning models to predict the ratios for 2023 and use the model that corresponds to the highest R-square value. Here is where the most important and the exciting part comes into picture. The most important thing is how to use machine learning or how to use such type of forecasting models in our Excel sheet, maybe to come up with scenarios. Okay, I'm just invoking on a Python table on an already computed table, so maybe it's not producing the machine learning models, but I can show you a different example over here related to risk management and how we can invoke machine learning models over here. Especially, I would talk about what is machine learning models and what is actually called as R-square value, and how do you determine the coefficiency, determine what is the best machine learning model for this, and you refine the prompt with even more better scenarios, like use linear regression for predicting the forecast of the financial performance, and you would get beautiful results, right? That's actually the theme of the program. That's one of the aspect in our training program where we would learn how to come up with machine learning models specifically for business users. Do note that this program is actually for a duration of about 8 weeks, and you get started with Microsoft Office productivity apps, and slowly we will look at how to use machine learning models for business case studies and scenarios, right? So how to use your personas, how to augment your personas and come up with specific and specific outcomes, so we learn about the fundamentals of predictive analytics and forecasting as part of our training program. As I already told you, this is a very quick demonstration about the capabilities of Copilot and the capabilities of AI. And as we step into the core aspect of the program, we will deep dive into each of these aspects. Let's look into one more very quick example before we move on to the next aspect of what we do with Copilot. I can in fact ask Copilot to create a risk register for me, by which I produced a risk register as per the PMI standards. Let's say I want to align with my PMI standards. I want I want Copilot to observe the columns over here, specific to description, cost, and impact, and conduct a qualitative analysis. Let's see if it does that. All these prompts are handcrafted, just to make sure that we are able to get the data, get the observation inside your Copilot, and help us with qualitative risk analysis, quantitative risk analysis, come up with even decision modeling. In fact, I tried a couple of decision modeling over here. You would apply decision tree modeling in a variety of scenarios, like for example, choosing the best project out of a specific portfolio, or even in your risk management for that case. So I have inserted the specific column that actually talks about the reassessed risk over here, and the themes of the qualitative assessment that it has already did, schedule delays and project disruptions, so on and so forth. I can even in fact ask here, can you reassess let's say these risk numbers, or these risk identified is from my team members. Can you reassess the risk and come up with reassessed probability and impact score? So there is like a number of ways on how you could use Copilot for Excel. I'm going really slow with Copilot for Excel with a couple of case studies, but as we deep dive, just the Microsoft Excel Copilot training program is for about 1 or 2 sessions where we deep dive into the each and every aspect of Copilot over here to reassess. Okay, since I don't have project information, all right, no problem. I should probably give more inputs over here related to the project information as well. Let's see if I can ask Copilot to apply decision tree modeling for the cost impact on this respective project. So it takes its own time, maybe about a couple of minutes. Whenever you use such type of complex prompts, it might take more time. It might actually fail at times as well. You need to be prepared to follow up with good prompts. Let's be practical about the state at which we are. Yes, of course, it has already produced a expected decision tree model in terms of each and every category. So let's say, can you produce a model? Can you produce a more thematic model? Can you produce a thematic model applying decision tree? Hit enter. And what it does is it actually looks into each of these risk probability score. It looks into the estimated cost, and it comes up with a nice theme over here that can help us to come up with a thematic model of what is the best decision score, what is the best way to go to work on a specific risk. Yeah, so here we got it. Yep, insert it into a sheet. Insert this one into a sheet, and you see here that there is already a thematic model which is prepared, and it comes up with the estimated cost in case if it is realized, in case if it is not. So this is exactly what I need from the portfolio risk management, from an enterprise risk management perspective. I do look at these thematic scores on each and every risk aspects over here. If I take this decision, what is the probability? And if I don't, what is the probability, right? You could use such type of decision tree models in your portfolio risk management, or even for you to choose a specific project within a portfolio. So these all things are run in the background with Python codes. We do assume that we are already an expert in Excel, but you could see here that there is tons of things that you could invoke with Copilot to come up with beautiful outcomes. Of course, I can understand this as an ERM specialist. When you look into Copilot from different perspectives, you get different outcomes, right? So I look forward, as part of the training program, help the professionals to tailor case studies specific to human resource management or facilities management. We have had most of the people coming from different business domain areas and looking forward to use AI in all these different sections, right? So as we proceed with Excel, this is just like the tip of the iceberg. We have spoke about a couple of things in Excel. We will be exploring a lot about Excel. As we complete with Excel, we will then progress with how to utilize Copilot in PowerPoint presentation. For example, you could see here, I took the balance sheet metrics which I produced from Copilot, and I wanted Copilot to actually come up with a presentation of this specific complete data, right? I will deep dive into each of these aspects in terms of how do you prepare your presentation with Copilot, what type of prompts to use, what type of reference file to give, and how do you actually give these references, right? So let's say, based on the construction risk management, can you produce a PPT, and just hit enter. You could in fact choose themes, you could give better prompts, you could refer to your Outlook, you could refer to your OneDrive, PDF documents, files, so on and so forth, and construct a beautiful PPT. We will deep dive into the PowerPoint presentation with Microsoft Copilot, how exactly to convert the same exact Excel sheet into a beautiful PowerPoint presentation, right? As we proceed further, I want you to, I believe that none of the program happens in a day, or just in a couple of hours, or especially with in a couple of sessions. These all things are to be discussed in detail. So our training program is actually spread over for a period of 8 weeks. We do the live instructor training program, hearing the case studies, hearing the problem statements, and have practical lab exercise working on each of these aspects. Here is the first domain area. We will, just getting you back to the domain that we've been discussing about. We will start with Microsoft Excel, of course, and then we will progress with a PowerPoint presentation. Then we will talk about how exactly you could improve your productivity with Outlook. For example, highlight the most important tasks for the week and hit enter. You could see here that there is like tons of things that you should be aware about and learn in each of these tools. Like, it looks like pretty simple from a high level perspective, but when we deep dive into Copilot, you could almost customize each and everything. And the best part is that what we did as part of Team Academy is that we have constructed a number of personas that can help you to tailor and make the AI not to hallucinate, rather talk about specific objectives, right? So over here, I got like very important elements to do, very important tasks to do. So I've highlighted all of these things. Okay, very good. So I've scheduled this specific Power BI demonstration. I need to provision Zoom for my phone number. Yes, of course, I need to do Delight Chat onboarding. These are all the actual tasks with Team Academy that I'm accountable for. And you could see here that with very simple prompts, you could get this specific thing, right? right? And the best part is, all of these things goes in a specific chain or sequence of events, right? I can very well go to my Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is actually, again, all of these things are about personal productivity. It's not even about enterprise AI productivity. I can very well go here to my Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is specifically tailored for your work scenario. I'm not talking about the Copilot or Chat GPT that hallucinates all across the globe. Rather, we are talking about, can you highlight the most important tasks for me for this week? And if I hit enter in my Microsoft 365 Copilot, the advantage over here is that it's not just like your Outlook. You would have your tasks not just consolidated from your Outlook, but also from Microsoft Planner and from a number of other Microsoft tools. And the best part over here in Microsoft 365 Copilot, I can ask AI to schedule this prompt, and I can say here, hey Copilot, every day when I get to my job at exact 8:30 a.m., I want you to help me produce all these important tasks, pick up from all the different Outlook or from the Microsoft ecosystem as a whole, and schedule this for me. And Copilot does that, and you receive email responses with those alerts as well. You get those simple alerts from Copilot over here that your schedule prompt is actually ready, correct? Let's say as an enterprise risk manager, I need to look at the risk opportunities and threats from my SharePoint site. Yesterday we had like a number of people updating project document, contract documents, and procurement documents within specific OneDrive folders. And I want I want my Microsoft 365 Copilot to look at my complete Microsoft ecosystem and schedule this prompt for me, right? Again, this is all about your personal productivity, how you get better with Copilot, right? Copilot is really getting better these days with a lot of horizontal layer of implementation. We're not talking about AI with hallucinating outputs. Rather, we're specifically talking about how to harness the power of Copilot in specific objectives, right? If I got one Excel sheet, it's very easy to deal with in Excel. But if I got like bunch of Excel sheets, if I got like bunch of project management documents, I would prefer to get started by creating a notebook. Let's say, for example, risk management Pro. I create a notebook. Notebook is actually a specialized AI window for you that can look into your files. It can look into your OneDrive. It can look into your Outlook. It can look into specific SharePoint sites and stuff like that, and it can help you to be very specific with objectives. For example, I got a permaculture project way back in India. I got a digital transformation project in Team Academy, and I got a couple of risks that needs to be assessed. I can create a number of notebooks over here within my Microsoft 365 Copilot environment. And the most important thing is you got to tailor these things, right? For example, as part of Team Academy, we have prepared, some of these assistants. These are the augmented agents. Let's say, for instance, I type here risk and I get the risk analyst or risk management specialist. These are business prompts, right? I can copy this to my clipboard. I can ask here, hey Copilot, you need to be you need to be specialized in risk management. You need to respond to my tasks with specific tone, formality, and you need to assess my risk documents as well. Now this is actually called as your notebook, and you could ask questions over here. Can you produce a quick insight of risks that are identified part of this project? Hit enter, You could make a little bit of spelling mistakes here and there. It's okay. You could, but it's not advisable. The more precise, the more clear you are, you will get better outcomes from your prompt. But you could see here that this specific risk is actually generated from the Excel sheet that I have uploaded. It's not necessarily always Excel sheet. You could in fact filter risks by categories, give a command over here. You could in fact ask AI to produce a risk heat map talking about the probability and impact of the risk score, or you could ask your notebook to specifically come up with outcomes in terms of your action item that needs to be taken on that respective risk, right? It's not just that you could use the notebook for risk management. Think about notebook as a separate window that helps you to get better in terms of your productivity with your Outlook, your OneDrive, your SharePoint files. And the best part about this one is, every day morning you get to the notebook and you want to run through this one. It already crawls through the SharePoint site, gets all your risk automatically assessed. And if you just click on read aloud, it's going to read aloud for you in terms of what is the risk that has been identified, right? I think we already had a very quick insight about a couple of things over here with Copilot. In fact, I did not produce it because maybe in my risk management document, I did not categorize the risk very well. It's okay. Summarize risk by risk owner. Let's say I follow up with better prompts that is specific to the Excel sheet, that's specific to the data that is contained within that. You should be able to get better outcomes. Let's say here, look at the specific risk management document. Let's ask better questions. I want to get, yes, of course, I did not had the risk owner in this specific stuff. In the specific risk register, I did not had the risk owner. I did not had the risk category as well. For example, I could ask a question that what is the major cause of risks identified in this project? Here is where prompt is more specific. You shouldn't be surprised with AI saying no within Copilot. One of the best reason is that it's contained within the scope of the knowledge that you train, and it is contained within the scope of the instructions that you define. That's the most important element about Copilot. It's not hallucinating. I'm not worried about it's not able to do, rather than giving me some fictitious output which is not relevant to the context, right? So over here, I'm using a simple notebook. This is one of the feature over here with your Microsoft 365 Copilot. What next? You could actually use Copilot in creating different types of assets. For example, you could say click on create a video, and you could very easily take your, let's say for example, I got a Copilot opener video for my professionals, for my students to know about how exactly Copilot could harness the power of productivity. I already got this in my PowerPoint presentation, which was again generated by Copilot with reference to a couple of my native thought process. In fact, you should be the pilot, only then Copilot will work fine. Most of us, we actually fail to use ChatGPT or AI Copilot, or even Gemini for that sake. It could be any LLM. As long as it's LLM, it's of not great use. We specifically make it as SLM, specific language model, and we make it like SSM, specific task model, like, using AI in your Outlook or in your Excel sheet is more about like using AI from a specific task model, right? I just click on enter over here, click on pause button.
This is slide 2.
Okay, it's
this is slide 3.
It's actually, it might take a couple of minutes for you to generate videos. We have been producing beautiful videos which otherwise would take like a couple of $1,000s to hire an expert and get it done, right? You would also learn about what is called as Clipchamp. There is a tool called as Clipchamp, which helps you to edit videos, whatever that you produce through Copilot. You could very well edit those videos using Clipchamp. The most important thing is that all of these subscriptions tools that we're talking about is within your it's just right there, just behind your desk, right? You don't need to purchase like tens and hundreds of dollars subscribing for thousands of softwares and burning out your pocket. Rather, you get all of these things within your Microsoft Copilot for just about,
this is slide 2,
just about a couple of $9.9, I think around $10 for $10 for your personal subscription. We'll help you out on how to get started and how exactly to come up with subscribing to these things. You could create images. The best part which I love in Copilot is to create a story. Let's say, for instance, over here, create a story about Qatar National Vision 2030. Relationship with Saudi, Oman and US. Let's say rest of European region. The reason? Because we serve in all these domains. So we as Team Academy, we serve in Qatar. We're headquartered in Qatar. Of course, we got like a number of students from Saudi Arabia, Oman, and of course from US and the rest of the European region as well. Let's see if Copilot can actually produce a beautiful brochure. Earlier, I run a business and I've spent like hundreds and thousands of riyals. In fact, to be very precise, about tens and $50,000s to produce brochures for my small medium business, right? It is quite like so difficult, and in case if I need to ask for a change with the designer, it takes like a back and forth story. But with your Microsoft 365 Copilot create option over here, you could unlock the productivity in terms of working with your Microsoft Story. You could in fact upload a couple of files over here and ask Copilot to come up with preparing nice stories relevant to your context, relevant to your business context, right? So I've seen people doing the same thing for producing brochures, producing a very good PowerPoint presentation. You could in fact you could convert the same thing into PowerPoint presentation and become you could be ready in just a couple of minutes for you to get started with all these different attributes, right? So yes, it's doing its job. I got like a design layout which I benchmarked it. So I have like a good design brochure that's generated completely through AI. That's about the create part of it. I really like the Copilot notebook and create, but still all these things are to do with the personal productivity. Of course, we have economic, social, human and environmental pillar, the regional partners, of course, and then we have global connections, of course, with Saudi Arabia, with US and the rest of the Middle Eastern region. It's actually not about the context. It's about the way how Copilot resonates with your requirement, right? And you know, you could actually get your Excel sheet done and then convert the Excel sheet into a PowerPoint presentation. And then you could take your PowerPoint presentation and then convert it into a video and hook this video inside your PowerPoint presentation back again, and you know, do a very good presentation and get promoted. You know, that's the intention of this program. We are just talking about the personal productivity over here. I don't have enough time. Let's quickly go on to the next aspect over here. So as you see in this specific scenario, for each and every business domain, I've been working with developing these prompts and personas specific to finance, specific to to project management, specific to risk management, specific to corporate trainers, business coach, change management specialists. And the objective is to make AI think in a specific manner, to be trained in a specific manner, and to execute results and produce outcomes in a specific manner, right? Along with the journey of the whole program, you would learn how exactly to customize with specific prompts. Of course, we discussed a number of tools as part of the whole program. We actually go ahead with about 20 plus tools in terms of Microsoft. What we've been discussing is just only a couple of things with here and there in terms of Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint presentation, and other areas with personal productivity. Once you're good with personal productivity, I would actually take you for enterprise applications, enterprise AI applications. Like, how do you get started with Microsoft Loops? These are the application which is there within your organization, but you're not using it. Like, let's say, for example, Microsoft Loop is actually a great software for me. You could in fact produce loop components and get started with loops over here. What is Loop? Loop is actually a collaborative workspace. You could create very simple workspace. For example, I can just click on new workspace. I can say here that this workspace is actually for me to do project management, let's say project and risk management, and of course to capture the meeting notes, so on and so forth, right? And I can invite my team members, info@teamacademy.net, click on create. And the best part over here is when you go here to that, this is your workspace, which is your project and risk management. Within the workspace, you could create a number of pages, and these pages can seamlessly interact with your Microsoft 365 Copilot. But the idea of this specific page is that you could use the page for coming up with brainstorming, like problem framing or simple Kanban dashboards, right? So if you just click on use Kanban, we use Kanban in our organization for digital projects. Let's say I want to look at Shopify expansion in US and European markets. Oh my god, I got a spelling mistake, and you can do the spell check as well. Shwati, you need to do this. Let's say I have a description as well, and I can in fact tag people over here. Shwati is actually info@teamacademy.net, and the moment I have this very simple loop note, I could have like a very detailed loop note as well. For example, this is a very detailed Kanban dashboard that talks about specific task assignments. You might ask me, what is the difference between loop and your planner? There is a lot of difference. For example, one of the difference over here is that I can quickly say here, create a loop component. The moment I make this as a loop component over here, you need to remember that the first thing is your workspace. You created a workspace. This is just like a folder, and then within the folder you created a page. Within the page you created a simple Kanban board. You could create this for your meeting notes. You could in fact click on Copilot over here, and you could say here, create a loop style dashboard to assess risks on my agile projects, and hit enter. What it does is that Copilot can help you just in the background over here, helping you to get your very simple, smart loop style dashboard over here. Let's say, it does the job, and you already got a loop style board here, and you could actually go ahead and take this specific loop style board, and you can insert it. You can make it in loop style table. The moment I have it, you could very simply take this, and you might not understand what exactly it is, but it is very simple, because the Copilot window is very small, supporting you for your Microsoft Loop. All you have to do is just copy this loop board and just copy it and just paste it over here. And that's it. You already got your loop board created, right? The best part is, you have did this specific loop board. I've already added a loop component here. I want to share this with my people. Let's say, for instance, I just click on this and click on copy and open an email. Let's say, for example, this email is my inbox over here, nothing confidential except my students. Yep. So I just click on new and say here, Shwati, look at this and update. And I got some spelling mistakes. So let's say auto rewrite, look at this and update. And you could see here, Shwati, my dear, please take a glance and with your touch, give it a chance. Oh my God, I've been so romantic over here. It's not expected to be that way. But what I did is within my Microsoft Outlook Copilot, I did give a draft instruction that I am a poet and always reply to my emails like a poem with nice romantic touch. And that's the reason it goes that way. But I don't want this. Actually, I did this for a simple a touch of a humor in my class, but I want to reflect the professional tone of being as a small business owner. Let's say I will copy one of the tone and formality from the pack. I'll give you access to all these elements over here, and I'll help you with your case studies as well. The moment I click on save, and now I close my Outlook. In fact, I don't want this one, she's going to be really mad at me. Okay, just click on this one and let's say here, Shwati, look at this and act on it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and say Copilot auto rewrite. And you see, Shwati, please review this and take necessary action. This is my original tone, and this is exactly what I prefer. And I'm inserting a loop component within my Outlook. Okay, I just copied this tone. Let me go back here to the loop component and click on this loop component and say copy. And just paste it over here, and you could see that this is automatically getting converted into a loop component. Where is the loop? Let me just go back here. Copy. Yep. It's just not copying as a loop component. Let's say here and hit enter. I think it's copying a different block, isn't it? Yeah. Let's say here, click on create a loop component within the agile task. Yeah. And then take me this one and then copy. Let's learn here how to fail and how exactly to do things in a professional and in a better way. Yeah. It's still not copying the loop component. Copy. Now here it is. Okay, this is exactly what I'm expecting, and it's a new way of collaborating with people. You could just say info@teamacademy.net and say here update this, yeah, and hit on the send button. And what happens over here is that, for example, I got this Dinesh@teamacademy.net from which I sent this email to update this loop component. Now this is actually a real-time Outlook tracker. Now Shwati will receive it in her inbox, and she will receive it within her Outlook email. And the moment she goes and enters, like let's say for example, subscription cost is higher for Shopify Plus plan. Let's say this is a technical issue. This is not a technical issue, it's a billing issue. let's say here data quality issue. Yep, we do have some data quality issues as well. So let's say here I correct things. And the best part is whenever any person is updating from any different place, either in your Outlook or in Microsoft Teams channel, you could see that the loop component is automatically getting updated in real time. Yep. So I could see here this is actually getting edited by Shwati as we speak. It's just that I have logged in as well. So let's say, for instance, if I want to get this inside my Microsoft Teams, I could very well go ahead and insert, and we have like tons of things to discuss over here about Microsoft Teams as well. So I just entered a loop component inside my Teams and click on post here. You would see that this loop component is posted inside my Microsoft Teams. And what happens is that when people start updating this information in each of these areas, let's say assessment, and what happens is that your Microsoft loop automatically gets updated. See, this is assessment. Yeah. So this is all about how you work in a modern collaborative workspace, and you need to have real-time status update. And the best part is loop is also available in your mobile app. So you could use this for you completed a meeting and you want to take the meeting notes. You can, in fact, meeting notes are automatically captured in a loop component. You want to come up with a strategic meeting and you want to record all these strategic meeting insights, and you got 10 people in your team and everybody wants to contribute towards that. You will be able to use the loop component in this specific aspect as well. And we have like Microsoft Power Apps to talk about, where you could design mobile apps. You could you can use Copilot in Power Automate. You could use Copilot in creating pages with SharePoint. You could in fact automate your process of creating your list within your SharePoint. In fact, I will also talk to you about how exactly you could engage in Copilot Academy. Even though the Copilot Academy is talking more about the technical components, you learn a lot of things within the Viva learning about Copilot. You got like a lot of support from Microsoft in all these journeys, but as part of our instructor-led training program, we specialize this for business application areas. We hear the case studies from you, we look at it, and then we take the step forward. We customize the program per each participant's requirement and we take it forward, right? Once we complete the enterprise application, the third domain area is all about how do you use your Copilot Studio. Copilot Studio is actually an AI agentic. It's actually an AI agent that helps you to get started with creating a risk management bot, creating an augmented bot. The best part about Copilot is you can be just a one-person firm. When I started Team Academy, I was just operating all these things by myself and no AI at that point in time. Now we have like about beautiful 15 to 20 staff, but still, there are entrepreneurs who wants to kickstart with business and they don't have necessary support for design, necessary support for customer care. You could use Copilot Studio for even a small, medium business firm, and or at an enterprise level, you could actually create a risk analyst agent that can be fed with specific knowledge like ISO 31000 framework. I've fed this specific AI agent with a number of knowledge source over here, and I'm also connecting this agent with MCP protocols. These days we have MCP model context protocol, which can connect with external third-party apps, and you could also connect your Copilot Studio with a simple Excel sheet, with Microsoft Teams, with SharePoint, with OneDrive. Essentially, what is an agent? An agent is nothing but, let's say for example, you work in HR department and or you work in IT department and you want your users to be aware about the IT policies and procedures. You could create an agent over here to help you with all these policies and procedures. You could automate the task. It can be an information radiator, or it can actually retrieve a policy. It can take actions, so on and so forth, right? AI agents, I have to deep dive into what exactly happens with AI agents. Do note that this is part of a demonstration class for the instructor-led training program that we are set to start from. We run this specific training program on every Saturdays between 2 to 5 p.m. in Qatar time, and 6 to 9 p.m. as well. We have like 2 different batches, and I'm the instructor for this program. So I serve in a number of regions across the Middle East, and also in different regions across US, Europe, and other areas. Of course, we look forward to aspiring professionals who are eager to learn. You got this. You can go to teamacademy.qa, and you should be able to see the training calendar. You should be able to see the training program brochure, and you should be able to see the modules that we cover. We cover almost like 20 plus applications in this one training program. Many of the people ask, how can you do that? It's just because we're not talking about the core aspects of the training program. Because you have a Copilot assistant, you just need to be smart in terms of utilizing the Copilot agents, right? So you will become a master in Microsoft technology along with utilizing Copilot. And the final part also, we will talk about machine learning models and how to apply these machine learning models, just like the decision tree that I showed you earlier. You could even build agentic AIs over here in terms of connecting agents one over the other, and have a case study around that, right? Let's say I have prepared AI agents to initiate a project, then an AI agent to help me plan a project, then an AI agent to help me to control and monitor a project, an AI agent to risk analyze a project. In fact, you could design an agentic AI framework in a way that AI can actually run a whole firm, and you're making sleeping money, right? Thank you so much for staying tuned. I know that it's more than 1 hour. I just tried to give you a glimpse of all these things, but I look forward to have my participants to join the training program and get started with Copilot in terms of improving the productivity. We'll not be looking just only at Copilot. At times where we need to make use of ChatGPT, of course, we'll be using a little bit of ChatGPT, but everything very specific to business practitioners, right? And finally, we'll be looking at how exactly you need to think like an AI business practitioner, implement AI programs within your organization, and take your productivity to the next level. That's 1 hour, and thank you so much for your time and for your patience to look forward. Yep. That's it. See you later. And you could get in touch with us through teamacademy.qa. This is our Qatar-based domain. Of course, we serve other regions as well. We have teamacademy.co, teamacademy.net for our learning management system portal. You could get information from any of these sources, and you are more than welcome to join us and take your time, take informed decision, and be productive at your workspace, and keep learning. That's the most important say for today. Thank you and have a good one. See you all. Bye.